Did you think it was going to be this bad this early? Heading into the season?
The Giants?
Yeah. Did you think it was going to be this awful?
I thought they'd win like 85 games.
Jeez.
I was way wrong. I was way wrong. What are you talking about?
How could we be so wrong about this team?
So think about this.
Because I was also high on the offense.
What's crazy to me is
how could we be so wrong?
Because look, starting pitching has fallen off. Like we can have all these conversations about, the lineup, which is a real problem at times. Their outfield depth is not there, right? And then the starting pitching has not been good. And then they don't have a bullpen solidified. And the bullpen's been one of the more prolific performers on this team, but like their outfield production's horrible, Joe.
It's not good.
Right? And then like I know we've bashed the infield. The infield's performing right now. The infield's absolutely offensively performing and carrying this team.
So you said the outfield, and I agree with you. Although
and the starting pitching.
Ramos, he wasn't some Scrabini offensively this year. Jung-Ho Lee was solid this season.
No, but it's the combination of Drew Gilbert, Bader, even though Bader's got a lot of home runs, like just look at it. He's a lot of weak outs. And Jung-Ho Lee.
Batting 168. It's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you there, but we knew.
And then defensively, they lead, like their infield defense has not been great outside of second base, though first base has really gotten better in the last 2 weeks.
We knew that some guys, it might be a struggle early on. Willie Adames, he always even says, I'm a slow starter. Chapman's streaky. Devers even. Those guys are playing a lot better. I mean, hell, Chapman had 3 walks yesterday. When's the last time we saw that? Good God. But it's still, even if Devers is playing well at the plate and Adames is hitting well at the plate and Chapman, like, that was what we were hammering this team out weeks ago. Now they're producing and still nothing's changed. And to your point, it's a lot more than just the big 3 guys. Hell, it was a great graphic I saw yesterday. I think it was on Twitter. And it was the Giants' top 3 paid guys compared to the Padres' top 3 paid guys.
I saw that.
Right? I think it was Jackson Merrill, it was Bogarts, Tatis, and Machado. And it was very similar in that those guys aren't really producing this season. And yet, you look at the standings, Joe, the San Diego Padres are one. They're first in the division, or right there at the division. They're one of the best teams in baseball. Like they're 31-23. They're a couple games out. Like it's not just the beef. Depth matters, and they don't have depth. And I think that's what I'm getting on here. Is you had the opportunity this offseason to shore up holes on your team you knew were glaring, and yet they did this patchwork job. They put a Band-Aid on a third-degree burn and said, hey, Tyler Malley, Adrian Hauser. Yeah, we believe in those guys. And then we're just also going to bank that Landon Roop is going to replicate what he did last season. Now, they have been right about that. I want to give them credit. Yeah. They've been right about Landon Roop. But that was also a big risk heading into this season. Robbie Ray, he's regressed. I don't know. He hasn't looked good.
But his second half of last year wasn't great.
No, it wasn't. So
it was good, but not great like it was in the first half.
You know what, Robbie? He's always been this way. Just the pitch count. It just goes up and up and up early in games. And he this wear and tear and the grunt. I don't know if it's going to end his career early because he does put so much stress. Guy's 35. He's had a hell of a career. But are we seeing him going downhill now? Logan Webb, I've referenced it, all year. The guy has pitched the most innings in baseball for the last 3 years. That's got to have a tax on him at some point, and maybe we're seeing it this season. So if you do have conversations around the trade deadline, yeah, I would listen on Logan Webb. I would listen on Robbie Ray. I'd listen on Luis Arraez. You're not above listening to anyone. I'm listening. I'm open for everything right now because unfortunately, that's what they put themselves in position to do, Joe. And it's frustrating to talk about this team year after year after year, be the same exact thing. And we hoped it was going to change because, hey, we brought in Buster Posey. He's different from Farhan Zaidi. They brought in Tony Vitello. Okay, he's different. This is going to be an unproven guy at the big league level, but you know what? They're taking a big swing here. And it's the same result. And in fact, it's not even the same. It's worse than last year. I didn't think they could be worse than last year, but here we are. How? It's just how I'm asking. It's just I'm preaching to the choir. I know, Joe.
And then you want to pour a little salt in the wounds. Look, I'm still probably doing the deal, and it's one team removed. So I don't know how Red Sox have not gotten any sting from this. But Harrison,
he's been unbelievable.
I mean, he had another start yesterday, and he's under 2 ERA. He's been amazing.
I mean, that was the story of the game outside of Abner Uribe's antics. has just been Kyle Harrison falling out.
It sucks. Well, here's the part that sucks. Not that you traded him for Devers. It's that we never saw this version of Kyle Harrison with the Giants. So, like, why couldn't they figure him out?
He's had 51.2 innings pitched this season, Kyle Harrison. He has a 1.57 ERA.
I mean, that's ace-like numbers. And he's a lefty.
He's been incredible.
You know, when we watched Kyle Harrison with the Giants, I guess they changed his arm slot. They made him a little higher, right? He was really like a one-pitch guy. He had like a mediocre fastball, like for normal big league standards right now. And like he couldn't get the breaking ball over for a strike. And then the changeup was all over the place. And to see that he's kind of lowered his slot again back to where his high school arm slot was, and then has developed that second and third pitch. I mean, this is the promise. This was the guy that looked like the number 2 pitching prospect in all of baseball. That was touted on every Baseball Prospectus website, which sucks. But I mean,
you take the everyday player over the pitcher.
But no, I'm saying, but I guess, Joe, both can be true. Yeah. I still do the Devers deal, and I could still wonder, like, what the heck happened that the Giants couldn't get some version closer to this of Kyle Harrison?
Well,
we never saw him look like this.
We never saw him look like this.
Or even like close to this.
Well, his Oracle Park debut, he had a really good performance.
Against the Dodgers, he had a really good start.
That was it. But that was like the high water mark.
And I don't want to make it sound like he was awful after.
No.
He left a lot to be desired.
No, and he had a lot of pressure on him, obviously, being that local kid, living up to that hype. And maybe it was just, see, this is how it works in sports. Maybe he just needed a change of scenery. Sometimes that happens.
No, he absolutely needed it, and he needed proper coaching.
Yes.
This goes back to what the Brewers do.
Yeah.
I'm more like, wow, this is why the Brewers are the Brewers. And now we've talked about this.
Yeah.
Everyone puts the Rays in this category.
Yeah.
Who do I always point to?
The Brewers.
The Brewers.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying the Rays aren't great, but the Brewers are even a better model because they're in a tougher division to me, and not division. They're in a tougher spot in terms of like they actually do spend a little bit of money.
They do,
and they have to be kind of very selective about who they spend money. The Rays don't spend any money, like at all.
Well, they do, and then the guy they spend money on gets popped for God knows. Yeah, exactly.
But what the Rays and the Brewers have in common is that they find out what you do well. They identify, they develop, they work with their scouting, their coaching. They've developed their arms, and then they sell at the appropriate time. Devin Williams, Hader, they've gotten rid of guys. Corbin Carroll.
Not paying Willie Adames.
They've done a great job of knowing when to fold them. And what they've done with Kyle Harrison, it's crazy. But the double whammy on the Harrison thing is it's not that you just never developed Harrison. I'm fine with the trade. Like, I wanted them to trade for Devers. It's also the guy you kept, Birdsong, ends up having Tommy John.
I know.
And really couldn't figure it out after staying with the Giants.
And then you got,
it's like a double whammy.
Then you got Randy Rodriguez, obviously, on top of that. It's just been, when it rains, it pours for the San Francisco Giants when it comes to some of these injuries that they've had and untimely and young arms. And we're talking about this pitching staff desperately needing some more depth, not being able to have it there. The bullpen we knew heading into the season was not going to be the strength, although at times this season it has been. But this is when it rears its ugly head, when you don't have a solidified closer, when you don't have a solid setup guy, when you thought it was going to be Ryan Walker, where we all kind of knew deep down, it's like, Ryan Walker's not that guy. Like, and closer by committee almost never works in the big leagues. It just doesn't. And we say all that to say this. Those are all problems, and yet we're talking about, should we move the fences in again? Hey, Tony, what do you think about that idea?
I see what you're saying with the question, and who's the right-hander that hit it out there? It wasn't Haas. I know he hit the homer, but Casey, thank you very much. I should know that offhand, but I mean, he hit a ball kind of in that area that you could wonder if it was going to be out in another ballpark. But obviously, we've got other problems to worry about. We need to. I won't go down. We need to do better at throwing strikes, and we need to do better at swinging at strikes. And there's a few other things too we could list off, but all of us need to do whatever we can to come to work and get better every day. So I understand the question, but that's kind of where everybody's attention is right now. And again, that's like baseball. It's a delicate balance. Hold the ball firm but loose. It also means everybody needs to come to work and be relaxed and have fun and let the game come to us a little bit. So
Is Tony going to last this season? Is he going to last to the end of this season? Tony Vitello, 888-957-9570. The more I listen to the post-game pressers, the more it sounds like this guy's like, yeah, maybe I need to resign. We need to get out of here.
You think that? I don't think that.
I just...
at least I hope not.
I hope not, but I feel like it's tough listening to him.
Well, what's he supposed to say? They're in the midst of a really difficult stretch.
No, I'm not saying what he's saying is wrong, Joe. I'm just listening to the inflection of his voice. And this is the first time this season where it feels like it's hard for him to come up with words to say because he's usually such a good conversationalist. And this is the first time I'm listening to Tony Vitello being like long pauses. It's not really that's not his cadence. Am I wrong?
He's never had an answer that short.
Yeah, no.
Okay, but like Steve Kerr, the last couple of years when things haven't gone well, he hasn't sounded like his normal Steve Kerr self.
And what did we talk about this past year? We said it sounds like a guy that wants to be done coaching. And he said he was 95% sure he was going to be done.
That's a good point.
So I
just think losing really takes a toll on you. And I think about where Kyle Shanahan was in the middle of a 9-game loser. Forget year one.
Sure.
Go to the year Christian was out when the team was 6-11.
Two seasons ago.
Dude, he was down bad. And what did we say about him this year? God, he sounds refreshed.
Yeah.
He totally bounced back. Losing, dude, these guys are competition-aholics. And their whole self-worth is through, are we performing or are we not? So, I just don't think we understand how much it takes a toll on them emotionally.
925, Tony Vitello didn't even know Schmidt hit a home run. Dude is lost. I just
think he was...
Yeah.
I think he's emotional. I think he's an emotional guy. I really do.
415, kind of what we were just talking about. He sounds a little like a battered Steve Kerr did this last year. It's like losing does that to you. Getting asked about Bryce Eldridge, not to say it's the same level as the Kuminga stuff, because that was years and years, but it does have a Kuminga-type feel where this guy's going to be asked about his development every single day.
I also think that he's searching. And I think when you're searching, it's really difficult to come up with words when you don't want to out anything.
You don't want to, you don't want to step in it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And he's already stepped in it a couple times this year. So I think he's really cautious, and I also think he's just searching.
209, he's going to last. Everyone knows he's the least of their problems. I agree with you there.
What is their biggest problem?
Their high-priced commodities aren't producing.
I don't agree with that.
What is it then?
Because the high-priced commodities are performing right now, and they're not winning.
Well, no, but for the totality of the season, they weren't. They dug themselves such a big hole early on that they've forced themselves to dig out of it, and they can't do that alone now.
Well, yeah, see, they are actually carrying their weight right now, for the most part. They are. You don't have enough starting pitching. Your outfield is decimated right now. And the catching spot, you got a little offense from it yesterday, but has been kind of erratic.
Can you give them the injury excuse? They're just too injured right now?
It's a combination of poor roster construction and some injuries, no doubt, and then underperforming by guys like Logan Webb is one right now. I think throughout 2 months we can say, yeah, Logan Webb's really underperformed. He's hurt.
He's been hurt.
He was hurt, right?
Yeah.
Devers has been awesome in May. Adames has been awesome the last 2 weeks, offensively. Defensively, not so much.
No.
Right? I will listen to the defensive conversation. Arias has been awesome. Casey Schmidt's been awesome. The outfield's been So I will buy it for the first month underperformance of the big three. And Chapman's a different story. I put Chapman in his own little bucket.
Do you think it's more of an indictment on the confidence of the farm system being able to develop Bryce versus a roster construction issue? The fact that he is just wasting away on the roster now. Did have a double yesterday.
I thought he ripped that ball down the line.
It was against a lefty too.
Yeah, and I thought his strikeout was a weak one. I would have challenged that. It was 2 feet, below the strike zone.
He did have a fun post-game comment, which kind of led us to all the move the fences questions because, he hit it right into Triple's alley. Corbin Carroll was there.
Can I read you something as you're going to this? Can I read you something?
Sure, read it.
I think this is a really good question.
What is it?
Why don't the Johnsons get the same anger Joe Lacob gets? Is it because they are more shadowy owners?
Correct.
Not being vocal?
Yes.
Because they're doing an awful job financing this roster.
Because they don't have the cojones to put themselves in the public sphere and be like a Joe Lacob, a Maverick type of owner. They have no desire to do that.
Well, Greg Johnson is now kind of forefront.
Kind of, but like, I don't know what he looks like if he walked down the street. I don't think most people do. I know what Joe Lacob looks like. He is front and center. He is doing a lot, and he has his hand involved in a lot of different things. I just think that the Johnsons are just an afterthought. But I'm with you. Maybe they should get a little more heat, and maybe we're starting to see that a little bit more. We do take a lot of calls here, Joe, and a lot of people bring up the ownership. So maybe we're starting to see that more. I just don't think the heat will ever be on guys like that. So that you don't like, because they don't resonate with the fan base. I don't know why.
Rapid fire right now. Line them up. What is the biggest problem with this team right now? Is it the front office? Is it ownership? Is it the coach? Is it the players?
888-957-9570. Is it the fences? Is it the dimensions? Bryce Eldridge.
It's an element, but it's not the thing.
Bryce, I'm so sorry you got robbed yesterday. How you feeling about it?
Yeah. I mean, I knew what I was getting into, you know. It's the first thing people told me when I signed with San Francisco is you're gonna get a couple taken there. And my agent Tucker Ward, I opened my phone after the game. He was like, "Your first time getting oracled, congratulations." So it's tough, but you know, there's nothing you can do about it except keep going, put your head down, keep working.
I mean, Bryce Eldridge, we're getting texts from the agent saying, "Hey, you got oracled, buddy. Hey, you know,
Aaron Turner.
Aaron Turner. This is the Aaron Turner version. Who is
not
it?
his agent.
Now, who is his agent? Do we even know? Is anyone? It's not.
I don't know.
It's not Scott Boras, I hope.
Well, look, for as crummy as it is for our hitters, it's supposed to help out our pitchers.
We just had 3 different responses to your question at 888-957-9570. What is the biggest single problem right now with the San Francisco Giants on May 27th? They're 11 games under 500. 3 different answers on the text line.
Give them to me.
415. It's the farm. Okay? They don't think they've produced enough in the farm system.
That is one of the root problems of why we are where we are.
669. Players. They're the ones swinging the bat on the everyday lineup. Okay? 650. It's ownership. Too many cooks in the kitchen. Okay? So that's 3 different answers you got.
Chasing the dream is saying it's the manager. Stop defending him. And I'm like, okay.
Of all the list of problems, Tony Vitello is not going to make my top 5.
If Dave Roberts right now was put into the dugout, they'd be what?
The same team. Put Tony Vitello with the Dodgers, they're still going to be in first place. I'm convinced of that. We're acting like he's the reason the Giants are 11 games under, which I find laughable. 415 says, the biggest problem, Joe, their confidence. They don't have any.
What about Triples Alley? Is that a problem?
The fences, got to move them in. Got to move them in, guys. Hey, when in doubt, blame the ballpark. Oh, the Niners season's not going well? It's the sun, the fans.
That is real. That is real.
But Joe, you know it's bad.
I know, but it's real.
When you start going stadium talk at Levi's.
It's real.
It's a little bit of everything. Don't rage bait me, LOL. That's from the 541. It is, obviously, it's a multitude of things.
Of course.
But when we talk about this team, there is a pie chart of culpability that I think needs to be addressed. And when we bring up the manager as much as we do on the show, and I get why we talk about him so much, because it was a polarizing decision. And we knew heading into the season, Joe, Vitello, why do we think we have a segment talking about what do you hear, what do you say? We have a segment built in for him daily, basically, because we know he's so polarizing. That being said, a baseball manager is not going to be the difference of this team being 11 games under 500, even if you have the greatest one of all time. It's just not.